Welcome, travelers, to Getting Gamers, your guide to understanding the gamers in your life. I am your host, Juke. My pronouns are they, them.
And I am Perf. My pronouns are he, him. And today we're going to talk to you about how we handle gaming in our relationship.
Yeah. So, in the last episode that you guys heard, which was Pausing the Game featuring DJ Wiz, we mentioned like a bit of the door system that we use, and that kind of inspired us to talk about how we handle gaming in our relationships. And in episode 1, you guys heard my background from like how I relate to gaming, but if for those of you who don't know or who haven't listened to it yet, I haven't had gaming hasn't been a part of my life much until I met Perf. So I have the typical background of like the mom that doesn't know stuff and that has to be explained everything. But Perf, do you want to tell us a bit about like your background with gaming?
Yeah, sure. Unlike your background, my very first memory, I am with my dad and I'm playing Mario Bros. On his lap. So I've been a gamer forever, almost born and raised, I could say. It only evolved into me becoming a real gamer over time. At the age of 10 or 11, I was already playing computer games most days I could. Strategy games like I don't know, maybe some people know this series. It's a Command and Conquer. It's much like StarCraft and Warcraft, but it's a older company.
It's fascinating to me because you say at 10 or 11 you were playing that game. That's
right.
StarCraft like?
Exactly.
Which means it's an RTS? No, yes.
That's right.
Okay. When I was 10 or 11, I didn't really have full access to a computer yet because we only had like a household computer. I didn't have my own laptop yet. I got my first laptop like soon after that age. But at that age, I didn't really have full access to a computer, and the computers were so slow and you had to share them. And so I had to use a computer when people were busy, which meant no one could help me figure it out.
Yeah, I guess you were unlucky on that, but
yeah.
If I'm right, your parents weren't really into gaming stuff overall.
No, really not. My mom is like a businesswoman, and my dad is more of an artsy theater guy at heart that just always had to work.
My mom was much like you, in which she was okay with gaming, but she was not that much into it. I think you're actually much more into gaming than my mom.
Yeah, I definitely developed it recently, but I would feel that your mom maybe didn't understand as much the appeal.
Nah, she always considered gaming way too stressful for her.
Yeah, which I highly relate to. If anyone out there has seen me game, they understand how stressful it can be.
She was always complaining about destroying her teeth while gaming because she was so stressed that she was grinding.
Oh, grinding her teeth?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot like me.
On the other side, my dad was a long-time gamer-ish, I would say. You've played a lot of Street Fighter, which is a fighting game. I'm being told he was very good at it too. So
I thought Street Fighter was like only arcade. Is it only arcade?
I'm not quite sure. Maybe you guys can correct me, but I don't think it's only arcade. I think it's stemmed from an arcade game, but there's been many versions of it. So I'm pretty sure Sega maybe.
I know that name. That's a company that makes games.
It was another console.
Oh.
It's a very old console, and I don't think there's any more from them for at least 1 or 2 decades. But yeah, that's it for my parents. My first computer was actually in my dad's room, my dad's bedroom, which I was always running into it the moment he wasn't in there. But he was not a big computer user.
But he still helped you like buy your first computer, like not your first computer, but at some point like he helped get he helped build your computer, or he helped get someone to build you a computer.
My dad loves computers. He's been leaving it aside for a few years now, but at my early 20s, he was building his own computer.
That's very
and
cool.
then in a rotation, because I had my own PC too, which was always his oldest PC in the rotation. I
Yeah.
always get the rotation,
Of course.
but it was always a very good build.
Yeah. And so what was your experience with gaming in relationships, whether it be romantic relationships or friendships?
Just before we go into intimate relationship, I was affected by gaming. Not that gaming affected me in a negative way, but I was afraid of being seen too much of a geek or of a nerd. So social wise, it was always something I was trying to hide or conceal. It was something I couldn't really talk about, or at least I thought I couldn't really talk about it, since it was a big part of my life. I was finding myself to be not so much of an interesting person to be with, so it affected my social relationship quite a lot.
Well, you, from what I understand, you kind of felt this stigma. It was always a stereotype of like the nerd that people would use on TV shows and stuff.
Yeah, and for all that stigma, I didn't really know what else to do with it, actually. I had good friends, which I was gaming with, but it was mainly, the problem was mainly about making new friends and being interesting in conversation and any social activity, really, in which I have the need to be chatty. You know me. I'm not much of a chatty person unless I'm with a very small person I'm very comfortable with.
See, that's, I think, something people might not expect from someone who willingly hosts a podcast.
Yeah, but we're talking about gaming, so that's great.
Well, yeah, Perf is definitely
Laid back,
calm, and not a chit chatter.
No, I'm not. I don't particularly enjoy it, but in the context of a podcast, it's completely different, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I can also share my experience. I can just have insightful conversation, or even learn new things about the gaming world that I didn't really knew before I actually searched for it. About friends, we've been covering it up in another episode. But all right, we can jump into intimate relationship, I guess.
Well, I mean, for the friendship aspect, you can go listen to episode of 3 or something, which is about friendship and gaming. But for you personally, I think that the gist of it was that like you did create great bonds, like great friendship bonds through gaming.
Yeah, that's
I would
right.
say most of your close friends have had some sort of gaming related type bond created.
Nah, yeah, that's right. Naturally.
Yeah.
On the intimate relationship wise, I can't say I had any really bad experience with someone who was completely ignoring or disrespectful about gaming.
Yeah, not like a few friends of ours that have dated some people that were against gaming, which is mind-boggling to me that someone can be just against gaming. But you gladly, thank God, didn't go through that.
It certainly affected these intimate relationship almost the same way it did with pretty much any other relationship. By that I mean it created in me some kind of lack of self-confidence towards my love partners.
What? So self-confidence because you thought they were judging you?
I was afraid of judgment a lot.
Okay. I see that.
So I was kind of pushing back this part of my life, which I wasn't sure if I could share with my partners in fear of being rejected for it, or that's the big part of it. The most negative way it affected my love life. And with that, there were some less important effects and negative effects from this old situation where I couldn't really share this passion of mine with my love partners, because I was thinking for sure that it was not something that was interesting for them, or that could be considered unhealthy, a loss of time, and even something that could be an obstacle in a relationship. But actually, before you, I never really brought up the subject in which I could actually chat about it, talk about things that happen with my friends in certain games, or even just talking about tournaments or practice or anything more serious in the gaming world that was happening in my life. It's not something I was sharing before I got with you.
But not because your partners asked you not to. It was from a place of fear, kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting. Fear, because there must have been in your life, there must have been negative dialogue going on somewhere in your life that you were hearing that was like creating that fear, whether it be online or at home or at school or, whatever.
Not that much. I think it was more of a perceived
Like internalized gamer
yeah.
phobia.
You got it. Very internalized from all the random chit chat or just post on Facebook or anything else related to gamers specifically that reflected negatively on my love life. But I'm lucky. I didn't have any partners that was completely disrespectful
against it.
Yeah, that's right. Or against it. I had some irritating moments with some of my exes that didn't understand this kind of boundary in which I'm in a game and it's an important me time in which I would like not to be bothered. That's right.
Yeah, or like in last episode, what we were talking about, not being able to pause the game.
Yeah, it's something that some of the partners out there don't necessarily understand. These people should actually listen to our podcast.
Yes, this podcast is made for you guys.
That's right, because we're covering it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more. It creates some of these moments where you're focused in a game and you have your girlfriend in the background just literally poking you for attention, and not talking about something interesting or something urgent or something serious. Just
like, how was your day?
And not even just being there, poking and actually waiting for me to give her attention and get off. So that is disrespectful by my standards.
Yeah, I get that. I think we could jump into how we kind of approached the subject and decided to handle it in our relationship.
Sure.
I think
I would say right off the bat, it kind of happened very naturally. But
yeah, exactly. You go. But I think so. I think one of the big things is that we didn't meet in a very normal way. Like, we didn't meet at school where we would see each other once in a while and hang out. And we didn't meet like at work where we would see each other and hang out after work. It really went from we met at a festival and spent a weekend together at that festival. And then we lived 2 hours apart. So once we wanted to see each other again, it wasn't like hanging out for an hour after work. It was like, I'm coming to sleep over to your place because it's a 2-hour car ride. So I think that really immediately put us in a dynamic of seeing how the other person lives. And like, there's no, like, I've had that moment in past relationships, this awkward moment of like, you need to bring a change of clothes because you know you're going to sleep there, but you don't want to look like you're bringing a change of clothes because it's not like disgust that you're going to sleep there, and you don't want to start leaving a toothbrush yet or whatever. But in our case, it was like, no, yeah, I'm coming over with like 2 bags like worth of shit because I'm sleeping over for 2 nights or whatever. So
Yeah, it was just very natural.
yeah, so but I think that immediately put us in that space of like, I right away got to see, okay, there's all like, from our first real date, which was the first time we saw each other after the festival, I knew that you always have a Xbox controller on your desk that's constantly plugged in. Like, that USB port is not usable because there's always a game, you know, and that I knew from our first date, not because you told me, but because I saw it, you know, like all of those things. Like, I knew from our first date that there was gaming posters in your bedroom, you know. This is not something I discovered the first time, like after 3 dates in or whatever, you know. Like, I knew all of this right from the start. And we met, like on the time when we met, we talked about watching Lord of the Rings together, so we like bonded on
Geeky stuff right off the bat.
yeah. So like that obviously helped. And I think what also helped is that I did a lot of I guess growth before meeting you, on the sense that by the time I met you, I already understood that gaming was more than just like a time filler. Like, I understood that gaming developed like skills, like
Yeah, it's
fine
important.
motor skills and stuff like that.
Yeah, but all the things we're gonna cover that we've covered in the benefit episode.
Exactly. I didn't like know it to that depth that we covered in the benefits episode, obviously, but I understood gaming more. And like, I've been in a lot of relationships where like I've dated mostly introverts in my life, so I've like had at some point in my life had to just wake up and understand that like introverts need alone time, and it doesn't mean they don't love you, you know. So like I've understood that early
concept
on.
right there is very important, because I think there's a lot of people that doesn't understand it, or that doesn't respect it, or just doesn't want to understand it, because not because, but it's very important to understand. For all the people out there that aren't sure about that, we love you even though we need a lot of me time. This is not even a question. It's just that we needed to recharge, we needed to empty our minds and be able to be fully there for you on all the times that we're not playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for those people out there who are dating introverts and who are struggling with the me time that they need and the alone time that they need, because that's the thing, is that a lot of people think, oh, well, why can't your me time include me, like the partner, you know? And no, their me time, it really means alone time. And I think a sign that like things are going well in your relationship with an introvert is that they feel comfortable taking that me time, and that they don't feel the need to explain it all the time anymore and stuff like that. I feel like that's a good sign that like things are going well, and that there's a good balance, is that the person doesn't feel bad about taking their alone time, because they shouldn't. You know, the same way like you shouldn't feel bad for wanting to hang out with your friends, and your introvert partner doesn't make you feel bad for wanting to hang out with friends, even though that's really not what they want.
Yeah, and this kind of anxiety of having to request some alone time, it stuck with me for a long time. I even talked to you about it a few times, because it was still coming into my mind that it could affect you negatively. You reassured me a few times. I'm very glad about it. You're amazing. I love you.
Thank you. But we do live in a society that seems to value extroverts more.
Oh, that's for sure.
And I think that it creates, like, from what I've seen, because somehow I've surrounded myself with so many introverts, is that it really creates this like internalized stigma of like, oh, it's a bad thing that I need alone time. But like, I think, especially as we all grow up, having been someone who like people used to see as the definition of extrovert, even I at some point realized I needed alone time. And whether it is that you've been like you've experienced a super clingy partner, like like I've been an extrovert that experienced a super clingy partner and had that moment of like, oh shit, I need alone time, and I never thought that would happen. Or like everybody at some point feels that feeling. So you just have to go back to like when you felt that feeling and use that to help yourself relate to the person that needs this, like more often than you do, you know? And how you felt like in those moments of needing alone time and not being able to get it, that's how those people feel when you're trying to like deprive them from their alone time. And if they decide to game during their alone time, that is their prerogative. Like that's up to them what they do. You can read a book, you can watch TV, you can play with your dog, you can play video games. It's still your alone time. And I reckon, and I would argue, that it is still your alone time, even if you are gaming and you are on Discord with your friends.
Yeah, because you can opt out at any given time.
Exactly.
Which is an actual important concept with gaming, because I've heard many of my friends saying, yeah, I would prefer gaming and be social with a lot of my friends online instead of going to the bar where I have to spend a lot of money and not being able to drive back home whenever they want. So it's creating unwanted or undesired anxieties, just having to say bye to everyone each time. These sort of things, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are
when you're ready to leave
this kind of freedom it gives us.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think because I understood a lot of that going into it, and because I think for you, I mean, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like you were in a place of not holding back when it came to approaching the subject of gaming anymore.
Yeah, I wanted to plug it when we were talking about when we first met at the festival. I was already working on myself because I didn't want to let this internalized anxiety about gaming just hindered any further relationships and my life overall. So I wanted to be more upfront with it. I think it paid off in the long run.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's exactly like the great combo that happened is that you were ready to like move past this and kind of approach it in all your upcoming relationships, and I had made my way of work on understanding that it was more than a waste of time.
Yeah, but you helped me with it too. You were very accepting. You encouraged me streaming. You also wanted to learn more about it even before you planned about making a podcast.
I think it was more interesting for me in this relationship because you were explaining things, so it helped pique my curiosity. I think we both have this thing of if I'm watching a TV show, you're going to ask me what I'm watching because you just feel like knowing what it's about, you know? And so I think in our relationship there's kind of that. So if you're playing a game, I'm going to ask you what it's about just because I'm curious. You know?
I feel we're doing great this way because it's going both ways. You're doing a few things, watching a few shows, a few YouTube influencer, different channel, pretty much every now and then. And I like asking questions about what's it's about.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think that's a great point and something that I think actually helped, and that could be helpful to other couples that are listening. We really early on found a lot of fun in doing like different personality tests and comparing our results.
Yeah,
and
cool.
And we would do that, and then we kind of ran out of like the interesting personality test, and we weren't really interested in like what kind of pizza are you type of test. We were interested in the kind of actually interesting stuff. So we were like, okay, well, there's no more personality tests. Oh, we'll do that list of 36 questions to fall in love that like is obviously a hoax, but at some point years ago it was like this big thing. Like if you ask each other these 36 questions, you'll fall in love. But we were already in love. We just wanted something to do.
That's right, because we already went through the main personality test because I studied in this field.
Yeah.
So we went through them very kind of quickly.
Yeah.
So we had to turn ourselves to the alternatives.
And I would say like it's a really good early couple thing to get to know each other, but even late couple thing, you still get surprised by things, and it's still interesting to see, oh, like even if you're not surprised by any of your partner's results because you guys have been together for 10 years, it's still fun to see like, oh, like I know you so well, this like I could have answered this quiz for you or whatever. You know, like it's still a fun activity to do no matter what point you are in your relationship, and it really helps open dialogue. And
Of course.
when we did those 36 questions to fall in love thing, one of the questions was, because these are questions for people who weren't already in a couple, and we were already in a couple, but it was like, what's like something you dream to do with like a future partner? Or like something you've always wanted to do with a partner that you haven't gotten to do yet, or something like that. And my answer was someone who wanted to listen to my murder podcast, like my true crime podcast with me. And the Perf's answer was a partner that would game with him. And when he said that, well, for me, because I thought mine was super understandable, not everyone is into true crime and murder and serial killers. Like it's harder.
Very interesting.
Yeah, you find it interesting, but it's like it's more normal that like I've had a hard time finding friends or that want to like listen to that stuff. But it made me sad for you to say that, because I was like, what? You know, like in my mind, because you've had long relationships. Like we're both not each other's first long lasting relationship. You know, so the idea that like you didn't have any partners that you could game with, when in my mind I feel like because of social media and TV, I thought like gamer couples were like a typical thing. You know, I thought gamers date gamers, gym rats date gym rats, douches date douches, etc., etc. I was kind of sad to find out that like you hadn't had partners that you could game with, and I was willing to try playing video games, you know, and I think I kind of enjoy showing people how bad I am at video games, like once or twice. Never like, well,
You're getting good. We've been
yeah.
playing a lot of Hearthstone lately, and you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, well, I enjoy getting good, but I think at first my intentions weren't necessarily that I was like all of a sudden gonna get into a game, you know, because you were playing a lot of Resident Evil and Heroes of the Storm, which to me feel like either really intensely stressful games, or like Heroes of the Storm is just really complicated for my brain. So I never like at first didn't necessarily have the intentions of like fully getting into a game, but I was certainly willing to show you how funny it is when I do try to play a video game at first. You know, it was kind of like a fun, like, okay, let's laugh at how bad I am and let's play.
But it's fun. And
Yeah.
I think something that helped you, and you already talked about it a little bit, is the fact that I take time to explain to you what's happening and why, and
Yeah.
the strategies around it, and all the deepest level of gaming, because it's not just the surface. There's a lot more. You can play a game for 10 years and not be on top of your game, or you're still lacking some information, some insights to be a better player. And I'm not saying we're gonna get there eventually, but I think it's what's making it more interesting.
Yeah,
least.
and I think also, like, especially when you were living with Zick, you guys had so many games there. So there was such a variety of things to try to find out, like, what I did like and what I didn't like, you know? And you were curious to figure that out. That's something that was interesting too. Like when you got me to play this game, and then I was like getting annoyed at this and appreciating this, and you were like, oh, okay. And you could see that you were like computing in your brain, like, okay, so she likes this, she doesn't like this. Okay, so next game I'm gonna make her try this. and maybe and then we'll figure out,
Yeah, I was taking this seriously.
Yeah.
I was
Well, that helped, because like if you had just stuck me on Resident Evil and then you told me, well, that's all I got, that's all we can play, I don't think I would have gotten into gaming
Of
as
course not.
much because I fucking hate the cameras and the jump scares and the intense, always intense, never calm.
You gotta know your audience.
Yeah. But like
And
Diablo was a good game to start me on because there's a lot of calm, empty moments and then there's a lot of intense moments, but the intensity is never
too
too
complicated.
yeah, it's never like all up in your face. You feel like you're claustrophobic all of a sudden because it's top down view,
That's
right?
right.
So
And just like you told me a few times, I mean, another thing that help you being interested in gaming is the fact that I'm not only make you stay by my side and watch me play.
yeah,
A few now and then, it's okay. I enjoy watching game myself and
yeah,
many different streamers.
mm-hmm.
But sometimes, as I'm trying to put myself in your skin,
Yeah. Well,
and
because
it could be very boring to just be there 4 hours.
yeah, well, because I was telling Perf about like a past relationship that I had where most of my relationship was really just sitting like slightly next to my partner and watching them play League of Legends and it never really being explained to me I was his first girlfriend, so he didn't really know how to handle having a girlfriend, and so it was like that kind of relationship. We were high schoolers, so like I was explaining to Perf that I kind of have like a sour taste in my mouth from from League of Legends because of that, and yeah, I think it does make a huge difference to be explained things and to be included, but also I think I'm showing more interest and I know more what questions to ask now versus before I just looked like a lot of stuff on a screen. It was hard to know what to ask, you know? I think that's a tip I guess I would have for any gamers out there listening is that sometimes your partner or your mom or your dad, they don't even know what questions to ask to try to like be involved.
Yeah, because for them it just looks like a clusterfuck of colors and
Yeah.
random characters.
And often the games, like you have to admit, often the video games, it's like intense sounds and aggressive, like visuals or aggressive sounds or like loudness or so it's intimidating. And when you don't know what to look at, it's confusing. And I think a lot of us, we don't even understand how deep it is. I think like a lot of great examples of there's so many great examples of Perf talking to me about games that I didn't even realize there was a story behind. But I think one of the funniest examples that always makes people react is me and Star Wars. I still haven't watched Star Wars to this day. But
Blasphemy.
before the age of like 18, 19, I didn't even understand that there was like a story to Star Wars.
What?
Like, I just assumed Star Wars was like a spaceship action movie, like pew, 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 and spaceships, and that's it. And my brain didn't even go further than that. Like, I thought, like, guys who go watch monster trucks, it's literally just monster trucks like rolling on top of each other and like smashing into each other. Like I was
There's
like,
no
okay,
lore
it's just
to
like
that?
no, but that's it. I was like, there's no lore. It's just spaceships smashing into each other, and I didn't even think twice about it. I was just like, whatever. I don't give a fuck. And then someone, I'm maybe an ex or a friend back in the day ended up starting to explain to me that like, oh, this relationship between these two characters and then this guy, not realizing that it's his sister or whatever. Listen, it's been a long time. I don't remember the spiel, but I was like, what the fuck? This story is so deep, and I never thought it would be. And so that's I feel like a lot of parents and partners are living that same thing with video games. So like I guess it could be hard to bring up, especially if you have parents or partners that have a lot of stigma about it. But if it's someone who's like open, you can just start talking about the lore and the story behind it, of like, oh my God, like the hour that I just played was so intense because like this character betrayed this character and then I had to do this, you know? And if you tell that to your partner, like something like, oh my God, like I had to help this person because this other person betrayed them, blah, 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 in my video game, like that's drama. That's gonna incite some type of emotion, you
Okay,
know?
or interesting conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
And in most games I've played, there's always some kind of knowledge or not moral.
Yeah, moral.
Moral. Yeah, there's often a moral that can trigger some very insightful or even some situations that are parallel to the real world.
Yes.
I said I hated saying that, but it's the only word that came to mind right
Yeah.
now. But anyways.
But yeah, there's insightful stuff that happens in games. And I mean, like, okay, if you're playing Rocket League, that's the game where you're like cars playing soccer, right?
Yeah, I heard the skill cap is very high, but I don't think there's any lore behind
Exactly.
it.
There's no lore behind that. So if you're playing Rocket League, okay, maybe there's no story behind that. But like you can still show them like the funny, like, oh look, I can make this car look funny or something. Like it try to involve them in something that they can live an emotion that they can understand. You know, if you just make them watch the screen, they won't understand. But if you tell them, oh, choose what color my car is, you know? What color car should I drive? Or you choose the car I drive for the next game, for the next racing game. Or, you know, if they're nearby and you're playing a game that has a lot of dialogue and you have to choose what to say next, how about you ask your partner? Like, oh, you think I should tell that guy to fuck off? You think I should help him? You know? If the option's there and your partner's nearby, involve them with little stupid things and you'll see it. Like, magic happens.
That's perfect. So we have to play RPG together. In which I let you decide everything.
Okay. I tend to like when I'm watching people play RPGs, I tend to want to create chaos.
That's all right.
When I play it, then I'm like, okay, like I have to be good. Like I'm playing. I have to do the right thing. But when other people are playing, I'm like, there should be a kill him option.
I think you are very badly influenced by all your murder podcasts. That's what it is right there.
Exactly.
Is there anything else we wanted to share about our lives together that's include
I think we can just
handling?
Well, yeah, I think we can just quickly go over the door method just because some people might click on this episode because they just want this topic and might not have listened to the other ones. Though if you're listening to this episode because you're looking for help in figuring out gaming within your relationship, the pausing the video game episode is still really helpful. All our other episodes are still really helpful, but the pausing the video game explains like an aspect of gaming and relationships that I think a lot of people forget. But in that episode, we mentioned the door system that we use, and it comes from Perf and his roommates living together. And I don't even know if this was like something that you guys sat down and agreed upon, or if it just kind of happened.
It kind of happened. We talked about it, but in the first place, it kind of happened because it was just obvious when the doors closed when we might be masturbating. So
Leave me alone.
I guess I'm not the only one, but I think everyone in the apartment got catch at least once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No way.
So. Yeah, we didn't sit to talk about it, but it just became
and I think for me,
something
like
natural.
You guys never explained it to me, but I kind of understood it. But the moment I understood it was at the beginning of our relationships. Like I don't have a lot of living with roommates examples, and I've never had living with roommates that are close friends, and you guys were close friends.
That's right.
And I remember being like, oh, like, should I ask Zeke if he wants to, like, have supper or whatever? And you were like, is his door open? I was like, no, his door's closed. And he's like, no. You were like, no. And your answer to my questions about Zeke were often, is his door open or is his door closed? And I was like, okay, so it means that if his door is closed, he doesn't exist. He's not home.
But I mean, we can always knock to the door if there's a cool proposition.
Yeah, but I remember once the other roommate, I was like, oh, should I go knock and ask if he wants to join because he had mentioned, and then you were like, nah, his door's closed. I don't want anyone knocking on my door when I'm masturbating. You said something like that.
I said that.
Yeah.
That's might be.
And then I was like, you know what? I get it. Like if my door's closed, it like especially in a roommate situation, it means like I'm closing myself in my bubble, and when I'm in my bubble, I don't want no one knocking on it. So if it's not really important, it could wait, you know. And I developed that muscle living like through experiencing living like part time, I guess, with you guys. And then so to continue on with that system, when the door's closed, the person doesn't exist. Though you can knock if there are things like it happens and I knock on
for
Perf's
necessary
doors.
things like parking issues, something's coming for them. Anything really, but something that you have to have their attention.
And I reckon like if this is your partner and like it's 6 p.m., you guys normally eat at 7 p.m. and you haven't decided what's for supper, it's okay to knock and say like, hey, like when you have 2 seconds, can you come down and talk to me about what we're making for supper?
Yeah, I love it when you do that because it tells me you understand my reality too. So you're respecting me, and as soon as I have the chance, I come back and deal with whatever we need to talk about.
Yeah. So like a closed door, it doesn't mean like that you're a horrible person for knocking. Like there's clear like it's okay to knock and like there's reason. But if you're just knocking to be like, when are you done? Well, I mean, I guess depending on the situation that could be appropriate. But if you're just knocking to just do random chit chat, it's not the time. And then next, if the door is not closed and the door is fully opened, then that means like I am open to being social. You can come interrupt me in and out. Like obviously you're gonna see if they're wearing their earphones and they're gaming, then yeah, they might not be able to just stop and have a full conversation there. But they're okay with being interrupted. They're okay with you coming in and like kissing their forehead or whatever. Like
anything casual really. And the last one was if the door is closed but not completely closed.
Yeah, so like when the door is like not leaning, but like ajar, it's not snapped in. There's a crack in the door. That means I'm busy, but you can come bother me. It's not the end of the world. You can swing my door open. You don't absolutely gotta knock, but announce yourself as you're swinging the door open type of thing.
That's right. So
I'm likely not masturbating.
Likely. But yeah, all of this is just to emphasize the importance of developing a system with your loved one that's a gamer. The door system we have might not work for you, but the important thing is to talk about it and find something that's really working into your own relationship.
Yeah, and I mean, gamer, not gamer. Some of your other roommates weren't gamers, but they still used that system in a sense of the door system.
True.
And like similarly, if I close the door in the bedroom, chances are Perf's gonna be like, oh, okay, she locked herself in the bedroom. I'm gonna give her space, And also, this is not to say that now that you've listened to this podcast, this is how your gamer functions and that you can just act like this is how it works. Like your gamer might not have listened to this podcast and like he might not know that this is our system. We're not saying that this is how gamers function. We're saying that this is a tool that we found that helps us manage gaming within our relationship.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's also working from home. This is how we help manage working from home in our relationship. The door is closed. Perf is at work, Yeah,
I think it's a very good and simple system that works for any similar situations.
Yeah. And I mean, this podcast aside, I think I really made it my mission, to be part of his world. Like I wanted to get to know Perf and I wanted to be the cool girlfriend, I wanted his.
You are the cool girlfriend.
But like I wanted your guy friends to be like, yo, his girlfriend's dope. So there was kind of that, but it's mostly
Yeah,
like
I already had the chance to brag about it a few times.
but I think it's an important part of relationships is wanting to be part of each other's lives and wanting to know these parts. Like I didn't have to become friends with your gamer friends to have learned this stuff. It just so gives that I did become friends with some of your gamer friends and that I love them so much because they're awesome people, you know? But even if I hadn't, I still could have learned all of this. And I like you don't have to be always in each other's like social circles and stuff like that to learn about each other. And similarly, Perf was already interested in true crime, but like he definitely listened to more true crime stuff by dating me, but he
course.
also started to make a lot of efforts into listening to musicals because I'm a huge musical nerd. And that's something that I noticed that he was putting this effort towards of saying like, hey, tonight you want to listen to a musical? Like it's obviously because he wants to get to know this side of my world or telling me like, okay, what's a band that like we should listen to? Like we have like a 3-hour drive to do for a job. And he's like, okay, like what's a band that you think I need to like absolutely know? Because like I think Perf was like neglected when it comes to musical education. It's not
I'm
his
sorry,
fault.
guys. It's not.
It's not your fault. You
It's
were
not my strong suit,
musically
but
neglected. It's not your fault.
no, I'm getting, I'm getting at least decent in
Oh, for sure, for sure.
the mainly in the electronic music scene, mainly because of Zik, who's my music pusher.
Yes.
To all the partners out there that do not really understand gaming, but do have a gaming partner. In my opinion, you don't have to be a gamer yourself for a successful relationship. But I would suggest or emphasize the importance of at least taking some time to understand what's happening, ask him some question, respect everything that seems important to him regarding, let's say, gaming competition, gaming with his friends, or anything that resemble an event of sort in the gaming world. They're gonna appreciate it for sure.
Oh, like one easy thing to do that I did when I started dating you was in like you know on Twitter and on your phone, like on the news side of your phone. Me, if I swipe to the left on my phone, there's like news articles that just pop up. And that's like based on interest that you put. And I put gaming in my interest there when I first started dating you. And then I would randomly, like once in a while, just see headlines pop up. I would never click on the articles. To be honest, all those articles are just there for me to read the headlines. I never click on those articles. But those headlines about the gaming stuff, it really helped me like be like, oh, look, like this thing about this game you play. And I would be like, oh, look, I heard this about this game you play. Like, that's a really easy thing to do for you to start grasping little knowledge. Like, if on Twitter or other social media, if you just follow some gamer accounts that, like, align with your partner's gaming interests, then you'll kind of start seeing things that you can be like, oh, look, like, this is cute. Like, if you just see, like, a cute character from a video game and you don't even know what the video game's from, but you saw it on this Instagram page that you followed because it's a game that your boyfriend likes, you send it to your boyfriend like, oh my god, look how cute this character is. That'll make your boyfriend super happy that like you're like, oh my god, she like that's a character in the game I play.
Yeah,
You know?
and even if your partner is a big nerd,
Like
and he knows
Perf.
very much about a certain game or just gaming in general, you might still make him learn something, like you did with these random news you're talking about.
Yeah, like Hearthstone.
I was like, oh, this is happening for it. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that happens even with this small gesture.
Yeah, and it's a proud girlfriend moment, you know, when you're like, haha,
I did something.
I knew a thing. I did it. Yeah.
So yeah, just please don't disregard or disrespect. It's very harmful to the heart.
Yeah. And I mean, like, communication.
That's right.
Like, I don't know how many couples have to say it. Like, communication is key. So just go for it, no matter how fucking uncomfortable it is. Just do it, you know?
That's right.
It's better.
You got it, mic drop right there.
Well, I think this is a perfect place to end the episode.
I do too.
I think this was a great... How long was this? Wait. Oh my God. We talked for like an hour.
Damn.
I mean, with the cut, it might get shorter, but
Yeah,
shit.
sure.
It's still dope. I mean, that's great. You guys know the spiel by now. If there's anything you don't understand, you can write to us, but you can also check out our past episodes and the website gettinggamers.com, where we have a glossary that we update with each episodes to help you better understand what your gamer is saying. Perf, do you have anything to plug?
I would like to plug the Grip.
Ooh.
Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah, GRIP is an organization here in Montreal that does harm reduction and drug education. They go to different events and festivals and help people who are struggling with drug use, not struggling necessarily with drug use, but who are on drugs and who might be struggling, or who just want to talk, or who want more information. It's a stigma-free, science-based education zone. It's a nonprofit, so they really could take the donations. The link will be in the episode description. And
if there's any big parties out there, you can always ask them to bring the booth out there. And
we've seen them. A lot of the festivals that we go to, we have seen them around, and they do a lot of good in our city and in the festivals around our city. If you can think about like the harm reduction community in your city, that's kind of what GRIP is in Montreal, but better because GRIP is the best. As always, you can find me on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Twitch at Juke_ish, JAUKE_ISH. I also have a YouTube channel, but I haven't posted there in a while. But I recently hand sewed a case for all our microphones, and I'm really proud of it. So I might make a YouTube video. But I was thinking like maybe I'll make a YouTube video to like show people how I made it because I was too proud.
As you
so
should.
Who knows? Keep an eye out for that. But it's always Juke_ish. Thank you guys so much for listening. Oh my God, please rate and review. Go on Apple Podcasts and rate us. If you do not have an Apple Podcast account, go make an account and go rate us. Go on iTunes, find Getting Gamers and rate us. I beg you.
Just do it. That's right.
Alrighty then. GG, Perf.
GG. I love you.
Oh, I love you.
You're the best partner.
Oh, you're the best. Bye. The artwork for this podcast was made by my dear friend Arielle. You can find her on Twitter at ProfitPossum, and you can find her on Instagram at ProfitOpossum. Our intro and outro song is made by David Theslian from TheslianStudios.com.
Job's done.